and fair is not only a sad episode for Bangladesh, but it is a compromise to the legal process. In fact, they call it International Crimes Tribunal. It has not a single iota of international in its standard or in its doing. Would you believe the accused couldn't bring his own witness to the court because the witness gets abducted on the doorstep of the Bangladeshi court? That's how International Crimes Tribunal functions. So I saw with my own eyes how opposition party activists are being bullied, harassed, arbitrarily being arrested, kidnapped in some cases, and assassinated by the current government who is ruling the country with brute force and terrorizing its people. This government has set up a kangaroo court to try a few people from one political party, actually two, but majority of those who are being accused and tried are from Jamaat Islam. I don't belong to any Bangladeshi political parties. In fact, I'm not interested in any Bangladeshi political parties. I'm a politician in Britain. I do politics in Britain, and for some of you who know, I stood in the last parliamentary election in London, in Bethnal Green and Bow, for the Liberal Democrats, and I became second. I take no interest in Bangladeshi politics and haven't done so for 41 years. But this, to me, is one step too far. When violation of human rights in this scale happens, I have to speak out. I've received phone calls and threats from various members of the current governing party, Awami League, threatening me, saying, "Why are you speaking out? You should not speak out because you could be harmed." I've been told that I cannot return back to Bangladesh. If I do, I'll be arrested upon arrival. I've been told that somebody is watching over me, and so on and so forth, as though I'm scared. That's what they do in Bangladesh on a regular basis. In fact, I was told by my family members recently that the secret services have visited my father's home back in Sylhet to check out who on earth am I? Why am I speaking so vociferously against the current government? What's my interest? My uncle told them, well, he doesn't live here. Why are you wasting your time? He's an old man, farmer, villager. Obviously, they didn't do anything to him. Ladies and gentlemen, what I've seen in Bangladesh is political violence in a scale that I cannot describe with words. Awami League, the current government and its student wing, would often attack innocent people on the corners of streets and villages. Two of my nephews were coming home after a day's work, and Awami League's members and their students wing with the police force were saying, these are the two that you need to arrest. They were arrested. One of them was taken into a cell where he was brutally attacked by the police force, and his spine was broken on his back, and he is almost disabled, living in a very sad state, only a 23-year-old young man. This is what Bangladeshi government is doing at the moment in the name of running a democratic country and democratic government. This is a government that has locked up its opposition, but has given you and I a window into what they call popular uprising by the name of Shabab. A group of people who have gathered together in Shabab in protesting against the government's recent verdict that why was one of the accused not hanged, or why was he not given a sentence to be hanged. Well, Shabab is a hotspot of a bunch of people. The majority of them in our country will call them communists, Socialist Workers' Party representatives. They have no other ideology except that type. They don't ever get votes in Bangladesh. They don't take part in political processes. Some young people were excited by thinking that this could be their Tahrir movement, like in Egypt. But it is not Tahrir Square at all. It is completely contrary. Tahrir Square was a popular rise against the dictator and despot. But Shabab is being supported by the current corrupt government. That not only politically destroyed its infrastructure, political infrastructure and democracy, but the government who sends the security services to shoot at the opposition party rallies, but provides food and protection to the Shababis in Shabab Square. If these people were legitimate and calling against the government and the overthrow of this government, surely the government would not be providing security and safety for those who are gathering in Shabab. Shabab is a farce, it's a lie, it's a smokescreen. This government is created to hide behind its own failures. I have seen with my own eyes, in Bangladesh, people are living in abject poverty, and this government has failed in addressing the very basic right of a human being, to provide them with protection to life, to provide them with protection to their property, to provide them protection of their intellect, to their family and their religion. None of those are being provided by this government. This government is composed of a bunch of crooks and criminals, in my view, who are looting the coffers and establishing big bank balances abroad and calling themselves democratically elected representatives of the country and the people. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel very sad today to stand here and say these words about Bangladesh, where my parents come from, and I have a spiritual affinity to that country. I feel sad that a country where there are 150 to 160 million people live, it could be an economic tiger of tomorrow. Its development, its growth is being hampered and scuppered by a hell-bent government who is only interested in doing one thing, and that is taking revenge. Taking revenge for 1971, for those who were responsible for the killing of current Prime Minister's father, Hasina. She is a vindictive woman. I don't know how she has become the Prime Minister of a country, but she, and I have spoken to somebody very close to her family member, a very close member of her family, who said to me, this woman is vindictive, she will never give up, she will never listen to any advice, but she will take revenge even if it means she breathes last. That is not a democratic process. That is not how we save a country. I believe Bangladeshi government should resign immediately. Yes. Our government should resign and hand over the governance to a caretaker government. A caretaker government should be mandated to do three things: to clean up politics immediately, to ban all types of student activities or student politics and violent activities that we have seen that is dominating our high streets, to clean up Bangladesh and prepare it for a democratic process where people can freely vote and people can participate in the long-standing Bangladeshi spirit of freedom and democracy that we have seen, the blood of which and the people of this country who have given their blood to establish. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, I say something very powerful for myself, more than anything else. I will not go back to Bangladesh to live. Bangladesh is not my country. But I, as a human being, support any human being in any part of the world where their rights are being violated. So in Bangladesh, human rights are being violated. Democracy is being trampled. Rule of law is being destroyed. Court is being compromised. Politicians are corrupt. And Bangladeshi poor people are suffering and giving their lives in that process. And that must be stopped. And that must be stopped immediately. I want to ask you all to join hands and unite, whether you're a parliamentarian or an MEP. It is not good enough for you to ignore what's going on in Bangladesh. In fact, I predicted this outcome 1 year ago when I approached Al Jazeera. I approached Al Jazeera and I asked them to do a program about the erosion of democracy in Bangladesh. And Al Jazeera said, we will not do a program because we've been told by our advisors in Bangladesh that you are politically biased. Well, I am not politically biased. I predicted this and it was ignored. We have told our politicians in this country ages ago that wake up, do something about the current government. Because current government is doing everything against what we call rule of law. And our government has ignored it. And it is time that our government woke up and realized that people's lives, 200 or more people have been shot dead by the security services. Shame on them. And that security services who have shot dead on innocent protesters should be brought to justice. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, I believe our parliamentarians should do this and we should do this. Just like we had taken petition to our courts to put restrictions on travel against the Bangladeshi, against the war crime perpetrators in other parts of the world. We should bring to this country, in the court, immediately a petition to restrict all the ministers of Bangladesh from travel. If they have a land in this country, even Hasina, if she lands in this country, she should be arrested and tried. She should be tried for war crimes in this country and put behind bars. Ladies and gentlemen, I can speak for a long time because I believe this cause needs to be aired and aired passionately. There is one narrative that is being preached to all of us, and that is war crime, war crime, war crime. We believe war criminals should be tried. Do you believe in war criminals should be tried? Yes! We all do. But we want a fair court. Yes. We want a court that is under the jurisdiction of The Hague. We want a court that has got objectivity and neutrality in its benches. We want a court that will try Hasina's own family for war crimes first. We want a court that will try the Army League war criminals who are walking around in the party in cabinet today. Try those people, for Bangladeshis deserve better future and better democracy tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, let's unite. Let's put our hands together, our minds together, our efforts together. to energize our campaign, for we shall not forget